Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for January 22nd. January 22nd is the 22nd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 343 days remaining to the end of the year, or 344 in leap years. Today's word is brevity. Brevity is a noun that means concise and exact use of words in writing or speech, shortness of time. Short, clean, and clear, brevity in the interest of brevity. The word brevity comes to us from the late 1600s, Old French, and Latin before that, brevity. And with that, we're going to start by telling you that the Pontifical Swiss Guard is a minor armed forces and honor guards unit maintained by the Holy See that protects the Pope and the Apostolic Palace and serves as the de facto military of Vatican City. The first contingent of 150 Swiss guards arrived at the Vatican on January 22nd, 1506. This is the birthday of Sir Walter Raleigh, born somewhere around January 22nd in 1552, or maybe 1554. Why so vague? This is one of those cases where records were kept a little bit differently back then than they are now. Instead of the issuance of a birth certificate at the time of birth, often the first records of one's existence might be a baptism record, for example, typically not on the day of birth. Anyway, one of the things that Sir Walter Raleigh is famous for is that he brought tobacco to England. He was a favorite of Queen Elizabeth, known as the Virgin Queen. She was perhaps the original strong, independent woman who didn't need no man. But even though she was too wary to get deeply and personally involved with men in terms of a romantic type of relationship, she didn't necessarily dislike men, and she was particularly fond of Sir Walter Raleigh, and she was really upset when she found out that he had secretly married one of her ladies in waiting, secretly, and of course without her permission. Seems like he was in and out of favor at various times, along with prison. In the end, he offended Spain, and the Spanish ambassador insisted that he be executed or there would be war. And so, Sir Walter Raleigh was executed in October of 1618 when he was 65. The United Mine Workers of America was founded in Columbus, Ohio on January 22, 1890. Initially, they represented coal miners, but these days they also represent healthcare workers, truck drivers, manufacturing workers, public employees in the United States and Canada. On January 22, 1901, the grandmother of Europe, Queen Victoria, died at age 81, having reigned as queen for 63 years. Upon her death, Edward VII was proclaimed king. January 22, 1946 marks the creation of the Central Intelligence Group, which eventually evolved into what we now know as the Central Intelligence Agency. By the way, they do have a website, and if you think you might like to go to work for the CIA, you can learn about that at cia.gov, or you can go to the resources page to learn about stuff like the millions of documents they release to the public each year. They also have a feature, which I particularly like, called the World Fact Book, where you can learn all kinds of things about countries all over the world, countries you've never even heard of. You can see stuff like the flag of that country, a map, a summary about the country, travel facts, and other interesting bits. I've placed a link to the World Fact Book in the show notes for you, and I'm definitely going to be using that more going forward. Nice maps that clearly show the country you're trying to see. Apollo 5 lifted off on January 22, 1968, carrying the first lunar module into space. The Apple Macintosh computer was introduced in an amazing Super Bowl ad on January 22, 1984. On January 22, 1992, the Space Shuttle Discovery took off. The crew included Dr. Roberta Bondar, the first Canadian woman and the first neurologist in space. And on January 22, 1998, the Space Shuttle Endeavour launched. to dock with the Russian space station Mir, M-I-R, Mir. And that's going to do it for us today. I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes. Again, if you enjoyed this series, you can check out the playlist that contains all the videos in this playlist, This Day in History, and that'll be in the show notes with the link in the iCards as well, or at the blog called No Really. There's a link to that in the show notes also. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this with others. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Good job. Not too salty, though. Gotta be just right. No, it's not. Okay, hold on. Okay, do that again. Okay. That's not a nice way to say it.